Hello and welcome back to Prodigy Talk, and we are here at the American Ambulance Association Annual Conference 2023 at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, and I'm delighted to say hello to President Randy Strozyk. How are you, sir?
Well, it's day number one. I couldn't be more ecstatic. You know, the turnout is amazing. We had an amazing keynote speaker today. I didn't screw up my section, so it's kind of that mid-afternoon before we have our trade association, from 4 to 6 tonight, where all the people who support industry will get a chance to thank them and see what's new and exciting with products.
Good. Now, I want to pick up on a couple of things that we can really inform people about. And the association this year is investing in the future. And we have the Next Program. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, presidents get to kind of pick a theme what they're going to work on. And so some years ago, I started thinking about what do I want to do for my 2 years? And it was about the next generation. I remember when I first came to a AAA meeting in '84, not to date myself, and it was overwhelming, and I'd always wondered at that time if someone had been there to help me engage and be part of it. Second thing is, as we age, some of us gracefully, we want to start who's going to come up behind us, who's going to be the president of the association in 26, 28, and 30. So Mark Postma, past president, had asked me some months ago before I became president, he wanted a task, he wanted a duty, he wanted to do some work. And so we talked back and forth, and we came up with the idea of the 2030 committee. And the purpose of that group is to bring new leaders on, the young people who we were some years ago, and bring them into the association and allow them to have time to become part of committees, to train, to interface, so that we don't have a void. And I always talk about fill up the back room, the chairs before you make the board. And this group has come forward. So we have 21 next. They call themselves Nexters now, so they've identified themselves.
And we have to say there was some debate at the AAA board over whether they were Nexties or Nexters.
They went with the ers. And they've come on board, and Mark and that team have got them well lined up, and they're going to be very, very busy. And then this time next year when we're in Nashville, we'll have the next group of Nexters. But what I'm looking forward to is that we're going to build our base. We're going to build our history now. We're not going to wait for it to somehow or come about.
Right, and other associations, of course, are also running leadership mentoring programs, which is fantastic. And so now, of course, all of our Nexters are going to get individual mentors as they go through the year.
That's exactly it. Each one have been assigned one now. Nice. I wanted to point out their nice job at pitching CAA's program. Nice job without saying it. So your guy was very good at that.
Don't forget to follow CAA Ready Next Program as well. Sorry, but back to you in the studio, Randy.
Yes, very good. So they've all been assigned. They've got board members and other senior committee members that are assigned to each one of them that are mentoring them and getting to know them, and plus they get to work with like you and I. So I think it's been great. I'm so incredibly proud of it, and I'm glad that we're able to do something that would have been incredibly valuable to me way back when.
So we have an amazing backdrop here as well, and we're standing in front of the EMS Memorial Service ambulance, and you've been involved in this. So give us a few words on what's going on with this.
Well, so for many years now, we've had the EMS Memorial Service that's held in Arlington in July. There is still not a formal facility yet, but that process is going on. 3 years ago, a group of people got together and said, what if we traveled across the country in an ambulance, taking the memorial, movie memorial, which is, if you've seen it, it's a tripod with brass leaves with the name of each person who's being honored that year. So we did our first run. It started in Dallas, went up through America, and ended up in Arlington. And then we did it again. Well, this year we've expanded out, and we started on the West Coast. So a couple of days ago, it started in Riverside, California. Yep. Stops here for a brief break, leaves here on Wednesday, yep. Travels through, does another stop in Dallas.
And actually a great reception from Hall in Bakersfield as well.
Hall's, one of their new trucks are just on the other side here, which is the most amazing thing I've seen. They could not have been more gracious. And it truly was Harvey Hall's spirit and culture with that. And then ultimately in the end, they end up in D.C. at Arlington for the memorial service on July 25th. And I'll be there for that. But across America, agencies turn out, they support this, they're on overpasses, they're at their stops, they put memorial services on, and then they have Ted E. Bear, the little teddy bear. This will be Teddy's third trip, I should say, and there are also Teddy's got cousins who go along that are given out to kids, and people sign slips. It is so moving and so spiritual. There'll be 59 names honored this year, people who have passed. So to be part of this, to have this unit, to have the team that does it, both the memorial, and I'll pitch to GMR folks that make this happen, it's spectacular.
And we'll put all of the links that Randy just talked about in the show notes. Now, before we go, yes. Mr. President, you have the floor. What would you like to say to the medics out there right now?
You know, I say this all the time. I've said it for years. It's moving for me, but sure. Think about this. And I go back, and I don't want to talk about COVID, but I will, because where I'm at. America was saved by many people, but we can never forget that 24/7, our people got in an ambulance and they went to a call where they could become sick and they could potentially die, or they could take that home to their families. And no matter what they called, they responded. And America should never forget lives were saved. I'm so incredibly proud of what they do. I'm so incredibly proud to be the president of this association with members that are just outstanding providers across the country. And to get seriously, Rob, to work with you and see your presence and passion for what we do. And Prodigy, and not to throw, Mergen the guys a bone, but I got to tell you, you've raised a whole new standard for our communication. So thank you very much.
Well, we thank you for being you. We thank you, President Strozyk. And that was another Prodigy Talks. And back to you.